This conference will now be recorded.
Alrighty, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. Um, this is Carrier Management Training, presented by myself, Montez Stewart. Now, can everybody see the screen? Will I have to blow it up? Well, no, nobody, y'all can't see the screen yet, because I didn't even put it on there. Or did I? No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, you might want to do that first. Hmm. Yeah, trying to figure that out. My bad. Sorry. Now can everybody see the screen? Okay. Well, like I said, everybody going to be participation. This is just like a class setting. All right, take a lot of notes. We're going to have homework. Okay. Going to get you prepared for those live calls for the carriers because everybody wants to look for carriers. Everybody wants this. There's something that you need help on, to push you along the way. You know what I mean? So this is basically going to do that. This is going to help you get there. Okay. To where you're not going to have to wonder after this because it's all going to be given to you. It's all going to be told to you. It's all going to be shown to you. Okay? Have something to take down notes. If you don't have a calculator, get a calculator or use your cell phone. All right? Maps. Okay? You want to look at maps. Okay? You can download them on your own computer. If anybody need any, just let me know. If you can't find it, let me know. Get it to you. All right. Make sure that you have a quiet area. All right. Have a positive mind. All right. So, we can do this. Now, a little bit of story about me. Like some of you know, I explained in the trucking business with my uncle. Got a trucking company, M&H Trucking. That's our MC number right there. you know, Learned everything under the sun, trained, went through compliance, all the stuff that I'm going to be basically going over with you. This is what I went over. This is what I done. This is the same, like we're on the same path. I just did a little bit more research. I just I just did a lot. I was given a silver spoon by learning from someone that been in the business for 30 years. Dispatch.
Hey, this is Admiral Flipsy.
Yeah,
I think that parallel team in Richmond.
in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah,
No, I don't have a team. They're individual trucks. I got 5 trucks out there.
thank
All right, bye. Sorry about that. Okay, so learned everything under the sun under him. And let me turn my phone. Sorry, that was rude. All right, so basically, what I'm teaching you is things that you're going to know because it just don't stop here. You know what I mean? You're not going to want to keep on doing dispatching. You're going to basically control a lot of things till it's going to open your eyes to a lot. Okay. um I'm in real estate myself. You know what I mean? I went for my real estate license and didn't even take the test. I went through the school and everything, didn't even take the test. All right, because I ain't feel like I needed it. And then plus they wanted you to do all this stuff when you just put money to it. Well, I went to college, psychology and business. To me, two of the two major things that you need in life, but it never landed me a job when I got out of college. I don't know why. But I played football and basketball. Then I got into the car business, which I was very successful. But at the end of the day, this is about you and not me. Okay. Um, Let you know, be honest. The like I say right here, the trucking industry saved me. All right, with a lot of person in my life. personals in my life and how it's helping me grow, and I continue to grow. It really helped me out. All right. So, where I'm at now is basically scaling my business, training others. I'm still dispatching where I have control of my trucks and know what they're doing. So it's really easy to work with that, and this is something that I can help you go because everything's a process. Okay, I didn't reinvent the wheel at all. I just added a little flavor to it, and you can add flavor to it too. Just do it your way and do it the right way. Okay, what is dispatching? I don't like the word dispatching, but you got to use it in there because saying carrier management the whole time is like long-winded. Well, communication. You got to have commitment. Okay, you're going to have knowledge of it, and this is basically going to give you an overview of the knowledge that you have to have. Only thing you have to do is just expand on it. You don't have to expand on everything that that's out there. Just expand on something that you're good at and then go on from there. Okay. You're going to basically know about drivers. You're going to know how to talk to them, communicate with them, carriers, trucks, the time and the responsibility that you have because everybody has a responsibility. Okay. And you are the main person. All right. So, you're the point of contact for the carriers, the drivers, the broker, the shipper if you're talking to one, okay? Because you can talk to some shippers, you will come across it, all right? So there's a lot of things that you have to think about, all right? Because your mind's going to go a mile a minute. And when you're faced with a situation, because it's just more than booking a load, when you're faced with a situation, you're going to want to be prepared for it, all right? So we play a major role in their success. And that's what you have to think about, and that's what you have to know going into these things with these carriers. Okay? You got to have a passion about it because at the end of the day, you just became a CEO after you signed the agreement with them. As soon as they sign their name to your agreement, you are CEO of their company because you're getting a percentage of their profit every load. That's how important it is. You know what I mean? You're getting a part of someone's business. So look how important that is. You got to take care of it and you got to build it because we all say we want to network. We all say that we want to grow. We all say that we want to do business, right? This is it right here. This is it. You just became a CEO in your own home. You know what I mean? And the only thing you have to have is a little bit of training. Okay? So basically, you're going to have to prepare yourself. All right? First thing I say is compliance. That's the main thing. All right. Hours of service. You got to know that because that goes in the details of booking a load. Rate. You got to know how to negotiate rate. You got to make sure that you're not, leaving money on the table. Make sure that you're not pushing too much to where you lose a load. Making sure that you know, looking at the load's weight, the miles, where you're going, the traffic, tolls, the permits. So you got to think about all this stuff. Got to think about the deadhead because that goes with hours of service. So how many miles that he's going to be driving before he gets there. So there's a lot of things that you have to consider when you're booking a load. Okay, between the dispatcher and the broker, really ain't no difference. All right, really there is no difference at all. Only thing different about it is one of them needs an authority. Okay, but we trip plan, we do a lot more than the brokers. All right. So this is what you're going to learn when you're in this throughout this whole 2 weeks. This is what you're going to learn. You're going to learn compliance. You're going to learn how to take care of your rate cons. You're going to learn some. You're going to learn a little bit about these trucks. You got to learn about these trucks so you can talk about them. You're going to learn trip planning. How we going to plan a trip? what we're gonna do. BOLs, the process, building a relationship. Okay, because that's the only thing that we want to do. We all got our own. We all got our own swag. You know, it's like I came out to y'all. Y'all reached out to me. We working together right now. Okay, load boards, researching load boards, talking to brokers, carriers, everything that you see right here on this screen. This is what you're going to go through and you're going to be learning. All right, in these 2 weeks. But it's imperative that everybody takes notes. Okay, by the end of this training, you know, you're going to be able to do two things. You're going to be able to start your own company. Go out and let your wings fly. You know what I mean? If you need, like, I'm going to still give you mentoring after it. I'm still going to be here. Still going to have it. The answers to the questions that you may have. But when you done, you're going to be able to know where to go. 'Cause I'm going to point you in the right direction. You're going to see all the stuff that I do, that I use, that I utilize, so I can be efficient. This is what I go through. Now, some people may not use the same systems as me. Some people may not use the same methods. It don't matter, but you're seeing it, and I'll show it. Okay. Now, compliance. Everybody, get your notepads out. It's about to go down. Okay. Compliance. We'll have to talk about the safety. We'll have to talk about, you know, checking the carriers. We're gonna have to talk about the equipment. How these trucks function. We're gonna have to talk about all them acronyms right there that I don't want to go over, but we're gonna go over it. So if you miss it, you're gonna be able to write it down later on. Okay. Hours of service, ELDs, log books, accident reports. Okay. Now, I want you to write this down. I'm about to give y'all some information. All right. Now y'all seeing on the screen OOIDA. Okay. This is the account. This is our account right here. M&H trucking and stuff. Okay. Now, OOIDA is a compliance company. Okay. What they do is help you keep compliant. Now, when you're talking to a carrier, this is something that you can talk to them about, because at the end of the day, it will help you. If you help a carrier get through this to be compliant, then you can talk to him about being his DER. Will you help him with the drug test and the things, you know what I mean, to help him stay compliant? And when you do that, then you basically can go through all the training through OOIDA. That's what I did. Okay? Now that's a gem. That's an idea. That's something that you can do for any of your carriers. Any of your carriers you can do that for, because they assign it to you. And the only thing you have to do is talk to them, and then you can help them you can help them be compliant. Because only thing you have to do, if you don't know an answer to the question, you just have to call them. They're gonna tell you. They're gonna tell you how. Okay. OOIDA. Now there's a lot of other ones I wouldn't know. You can research them all, but this one is the one I work with personally. So I'm only going to give you, what you know, what I work with. Okay. But there is other options. Now, all your information that you're going to need to know also is going to always refer back to this site. All right. This one's for hazardous materials. But you can always go back to here. They got training and education. You can find training and education on anything around here. All right. So if you have questions about registration, if you have questions about the regulations, the safety, you can go right here. And you also will owe a IDA, which is a good thing. All right. Now, if everybody don't know how to get to the safer site, so you can do your research and look at the carrier's MC as well, and then you can also look up brokers. It's right here. This is the safer site. You can go there, you know, and look up anybody's MC. Look up anybody's MC. You gotta learn about the equipment. Okay. Now you gotta know your carrier's equipment because we're going. You know, you see those POs, you see those vans, you see those reefers, the box trucks. You got to know their equipment because you got to know what they can do on the road. Just because you see a truck doesn't mean that they have the same tags, doesn't mean that they have the same, endorsements, doesn't mean that they have the same anything. Every truck is different. Even if it's under the same fleet, every truck is different. Every driver's different. So you got to know what they're driving. You got to know the insurance. If they need $100,000 cargo insurance, or if they need reefer insurance, because that's a separate thing. You got to have constant contact with their insurance so you can update their COIs. Okay, IFTA. Now write this down. That's what IFTA stands for, International Fuel Tax Agreement. All right. Everybody has to keep up with IFTA every quarter. Okay. So doing this, you're going to keep up with their IFTA. You know, whatever TMS system that you have or that you choose to use, you're going to be able to keep up with their IFTA for them, through the miles on calculating the states and where they're going because they have to pay fuel tax in every state. So basically, what you can do is charge them to do it as well. Charge them extra. You don't necessarily have to do it, but they're going to pay for somebody to do it anyway. They might as well be you. That's just another gem. Every 3 months, depending on how many you have, you make 30, 35 per carrier. It's real easy to do. Real easy to do. The RP, you always got to make sure that they're registered. Make sure that the right vehicle, if you have a carrier, okay, that has an authority and and he has somebody running under his authority, okay, you got to make sure that he's a leasing of his vehicle, of his truck. You got to make sure of that, okay? Because if it's not, and he's riding on his own, without it being registered on his own plates, then that causes conflict. Then you're not in compliance. So you're gonna have to make sure that that happened. I'm telling you this because it happened. It happened with us. So you got to make sure that y'all always got to make sure that the one with the authority is a leasee on this man's truck, even though he's a owner operator. And it's a form that you got to sign. So always make sure, and this is the conversation that you're going to have if you ever run into a carrier that has people running under his authority. It's a simple question to ask. That's just it. It can get answered. The TWIC card. A lot of people talks about the TWIC card. All right. TWIC cards, transportation worker identification to get you on the ports, and the Coast Guard. All right. Now, this card is issued by the United States Transportation Security Administration in the United States Coast Guard. Okay, that's who issues it. I would write that down if I was y'all. This is that's that right there. That's another question that you can ask your carrier when you're talking to them, because the TWIC card gets you on the ports when you figure out, when you know everywhere where they're at. Okay, when you know where they're at, then basically you can, put them on those ports. And if they have that, it takes about 45 days to get, but if they have it, you know, that's good. If they don't have it, help them get signed up for it as soon as possible. Help them get signed up for it. Because all these points that I'm saying, even though you're going over compliance, all these things that I'm talking about is things that you can talk to the carrier when you're recruiting, when you're vetting. These are things that you can talk about, other than saying, hey, I can get you this load, or I got these lanes, or whatever. These are things that you can talk about right here. So even though you're learning the compliance, and you may already know it, some of you don't, this is something that you can basically look at and ask your carriers, hey, do you have a TWIC card? How long, how long do you have it? When does it expire? Those are things that you can ask. UIIA, all right. I write this down if I was y'all. And these are things that are very, very, important, in this business, but something that you have to have, because it brings a lot of revenue. It brings a lot of money. So all the things, like I'm telling you, just you write it down, you remember it, you come across it while you're out there, while you're recruiting, while you looking for a load. It's something that you can find that you already know, that you can basically pass on to someone else and offer your services to someone else. Because I had to find, like, when I found out about UIIA, I didn't even know. I'm like, what is that? I'm asking, like, what is that? I'm looking in the comments. They'll tell you you have to be UIIA certified. So if you ever see it, this is what you know that it's about. That it's an extra insurance that they have to pay for these chassis, because these ports. That's what it is. It's an extra insurance, basically, to let you know what type of insurance that you have to have. Everybody has a minimum. Like some of them be like 500,000, trailer insurance, or 250,000, you know. So those are up there. You may have some carriers that won't up their insurance for it, they won't participate. So you have to use somebody else's SAC code, okay, which I'm about to go over. You have to use somebody's SAC code that has that insurance. Okay. Now you can point your carriers in the right direction on this one. All right. This thing costs $82 to get a SAC code. It's basically identification number. That's what it is. Just an identification number. All right. So this basically calculates where these trucks be going. Like, it's basically like a check-in, an identification number for every time that you go into on a port. So when you have this two to four digit number, then basically that's when you get on the ports as well. Now you can go under somebody else's SAC code, or you can have your own SAC code. I'd rather my carriers have their own, so they don't have to run into no problems. Unified carrier registration. Everybody has to sign up for it. Actually, right here, with their reports and their filings, you can help them with that, their registration, because they have to pay a fee. So you can help them with that. as well, because they have to do it by the end. They got to do it on Friday. Actually, truth and honestly, every year on Friday. So this is something that you can help them on. All right. Everybody has different fees. Everybody has different fees on whatever their fleet size is. This was a couple years ago, but this is basically an example. But everybody's state is different. Okay. You gotta worry about DOT audits. Okay. You can help them find a DOT rep. Now this isn't anything that basically, you know, you have to do. You don't have to do it, but this is information that, you know, can help you. It can help you. Because, I wouldn't tell you something that, I didn't do. Because here with these audits, and most of you is going to get new carriers, the new authorities, well, they got to go through something for 18 months, an audit. They on probation, okay, for 18 months. They're in the new entry program, okay. So you get a new authority, know that they're going through that. That's a process. It's gonna be, I'm telling you, it's gonna be long. You're gonna be making so many phone calls because you got a new authority. Oh, 90 days. Oh, 30 days. Oh, you gotta up your insurance to this. You're gonna be making a lot of calls. But when you're making those calls, that's where you build your relationship. Because as you're making the calls and you're making the calls to the same broker and you're talking to them, then the relationship goes through you. I called them 2 or 3 times on a load for a new person. Just call 2 or 3 times, 4 times if you have to. It works. It works. So, you know, you got to help them keep. You got to help them keep their record clean. New drivers, new owners. You got to help them keep their record clean. You know what I mean? Now, this is basically like a spreadsheet. This is what I was talking about with the IFTA. This is sort of like what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. It's the mileage, the trip sheets, the states, the receipts. So you need all that. You need all that stuff. Sometimes you can help them with it, but through my TMS, it, like receipts and stuff go up. Like they just upload it to it, so they have it. So pay attention to the IFTA. You got the IRP audit, and this is basically the accuracy of their routes of where they're going. Okay, so you know that's a big thing too, and this is the main important thing. And you're going to realize when you're booking a load that your hours of service is very important. Your hours of service is very important for where they're going, how far they're going, if they're going into an area where they have a whole bunch of traffic, if you have a whole bunch of deadhead getting there to where it has to be delivered. So there's a lot of things that you have to think about, okay, through the hours of service. Do anybody know about the hours of service? Y'all know about the hours of service? Yes, no, maybe, so.
You're asking how long they can drive, or
Yeah, no, I'm talking about, do y'all know, yeah, like, do you know the rules and everything of hours of service?
I think they can only drive up to 11 hours, right? A
Yeah,
single.
it's 11. It's 11.
A single
11,
person. Hmm.
single person,
But a
team.
team, I think a team can do 22 because it's two of them, right?
Okay. How long does the rest have to be?
30 minutes.
That's a break.
14 hours.
That's driving straight.
4 hours.
10. 10-hour break. 10-hour rest. Okay. See, when you have those hours, you know, because when you look at it, you want to look at something that's going to say 144 miles. You're like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? So you know how many hours he has to go. You know what I mean? How much he got as soon as you start the car. I mean, as soon as you start the truck. So now you done lost 2 hours. Then if it takes him however long to load, 2 hours, 1 hour, depending on where you go. If you go into Snyder, oh my God, because you gotta pick up a trailer, drop a trailer, then pick up a loaded, and sometimes that loaded's not that sometimes that load is not ready. So now that's taking hours away. So now you're gonna have to think about a split. So there's a whole bunch of things that you have to, think about and consider. Okay? 14-hour limit. May not drive beyond the 14th consecutive hour.
So with the team, it is 22 hours. So with the team,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. 10-hour consecutive off duty. You get all that time, you gotta get to 10 hours. Boy. And don't and I'm telling you, and if your driver and it's like you gotta stay on it, because if your driver mess up his time and mess up the ELD and he could get stopped by DOT, like we got a warning. It just happened last week. We got a warning. On the way to Ohio, he gets stopped by DOT. He messed up his time, messed up the ELD. He wasn't putting it in. Next thing you know, they talking about he got an hour left. He's 2 hours away from the drop, from the delivery. You're 2 hours away, and they say when they calculate it, you got 1 hour. So that's stuff that you have to think about. That's something that you have to stay on with your drivers about, stay consistent about as well. Especially if you get too busy, because you're gonna feel like, man, that's a grown man, that's a grown woman. I don't need to do that. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. You hate it, but yeah, you do. You got to babysit them. So that's why you're going to be. That's why you're more than the D word. You're more than that. You're going to be more than that. You're going to realize this throughout this course. You're going to realize how much like you can do. How much you can do. There's so many things that you're going to be able to do. 30-minute breaks. Okay. And write some of this down. Just don't look at it. Please write some of this down. And the reason why you're going to, I'm saying write, is because writing creates muscle memory. This is what you're going to be doing. Okay. I hope y'all can see that. I showed this before. But you're going to be writing on pieces of paper all the time. You're going to be writing brokers' names, what they got a reefer, the zip codes. You're going to be writing. This is where you can start creating your muscle memory for when you have to write and you know what to do. You can just put it down in blocks to where you can pay attention. So please, I'm asking you, I'm begging you, Okay, so we can learn this hours of service. Okay, 60 to 80 hour limit. Cannot drive after 60 or 70 hours on duty in 6 or 8 consecutive days. So if he's, 7 days, 60 hours. So that's a lot, especially if you're talking about the weekend. You know, you got to basically make sure that he can get to where he needs to be, because you don't need him taking you don't need him taking a 34, a reset before you got to deliver.
You froze up for just a second.
Is the volume off?
We can see you, but we can't hear you.
All right, cool. Sorry about that, man. We good now?
Yeah, we can hear
Yep.
you.
Okay.
All right. Hey, my computer's on its way. Okay, I promise. Um, Now y'all heard me about the split, right? I mean the 34,
No.
the 34 hours. So on 60 hours is 7 days. 8 days is 70 hours. So after those hours go, within those days, then he has to do a reset. Okay, a 34-hour reset. So that's things that you have to pay attention to when you're booking a load, and especially over the weekend. Hello? All right,
We
it
can
said
hear
I
you.
left. All right, it said I left the room. But anyway, there's, on over the weekend, that you don't want to have to entertain that, you know, that um that 34-hour reset when you have a delivery, you know. And there's things that you have to watch out for. You're going to realize that when you're booking loads and you have and looking at hours of service, especially over the road, because when you have these over the road drivers, it's so easy to get lost in it. It's very easy to get lost in it and not paying attention to it. And then if you have another truck that you like, you're going to have to be on top of it. You're going to have to, because there's going to be so many things that's going on that you're going to have to handle. And then it's going to be a time where you're going to think, oh, I'm relieved. I got all my trucks booked and everything. Then you get a phone call. Oh, the tire blew out on the trailer. Oh, I got stopped by DOT. Oh, I got a hazmat spill. Something like it's crazy. So there's a lot of things that you're going to have to handle and you know, take control of, because you're the main person. You're the main person. You like the coach and the quarterback at the same time. You in there, you're calling your own plays. So you got to call the right play. So when you pay attention to these hours of service, then that can help you out and help them keep compliant as well. Okay. Now, this right here, okay, adverse driving conditions. It's wintertime, so we're gonna have to pay attention to the weather. Very important. We go out here and we got these drivers, especially in the Northeast. I just picked up I just picked up 4 trucks in the Northeast, all in Connecticut. Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut. All in the Northeast. And 4 of them's day cabs. Day cabs. Oh my God. Day cabs. Meaning that you really can't go far without your driver getting exhausted in the day cab because you don't have a sleeper. So what you gotta do? Here, I'm about to give y'all a gym. Okay? I'm about to get back on this, but this is what I'm doing. I just booked him a load with TQL. Okay? We're gonna get a reefer load. We're gonna get a reefer loadout. Y'all gonna learn about loadout later on, but we're getting a reefer loadout, and we're going to be putting stuff in that reefer for 10 days, going all up in the Northeast till we have to take it down to Maryland. And then I get a load coming back up. But you got to watch the weather. Got to watch the weather, especially up in Maine and all that. Yeah, they talk about it's getting cold and stuff up there. So got to watch the weather. But with this adverse driver condition, basically they can extend their limit, their maximum hours by 2 hours. Okay? Up to 2 hours. They can extend it. So that's a good thing. So we got bad weather. Shoot, we know we got 2 hours, chill out, bro. You know what I mean? Relax. We good. You know, that's what you can think about. So you're not rushing. And then you can tell your broker, hey man, it's 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 snowing out here. You know what I mean? Can't go up here or so we're gonna be a little delayed. All right, cool. Just stay in communication, but take your time. You need those 2 hours because you want them to take your time in these weather conditions. You know, if anybody's on the West Coast and you got them 11 Western states up there in the mountains, up in there in in Washington, over there in Oregon, and it gets snowing over there, and damn potato loads. So think about the weather. Always think about the weather, okay? Because right now, everybody we different parts of the country. I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's all right out here. You know, ELD, ELD. Okay, keep up with the ELD. Help them keep up with the ELD. Now, you don't need. Somebody asked me before if you need access to the ELD. No, you don't need access to it. Just make sure that they know how to use it. Make sure that it's calculating on their phone the right way, because that helps. They ELD is supposed to help them with their if the taxes too, but since they always have kinks in them, it's hard for them to do it. If it's off most of the time, and it's been off since he was in Virginia, and he now all the way in Tappahannock, Pennsylvania. Okay, so the ELD, everybody got that? Yes, no, maybe so.
Yes.
Okay, great. Need some participation. Come on. Participation strengthens the education. I'm letting y'all know that. I was a slow child when I was younger. I participated in everything, even when I had a stuttering problem. All right. But this is why it's so important because, you know, the safety of our carriers is very important. That's how we keep going. If we don't help them keep compliant, you know, by knowing what we know, by asking questions, by asking if they need anything, you know what I mean? Then something could get messed up. You don't want you don't want your carriers to hold anything from you, especially if it's going to cost the company, because they don't know what you can do to help them. You know, they don't like y'all in business together. Somebody just gave me 10% of their company. I'm going to do whatever I can to help you. Like, look, let's figure this out. What's going on? I had a carrier that was freaking out and everything because she was behind on her damn insurance. Behind on her insurance. And then she has to pay me and then all this other good stuff. Hold on. You're in business with these people. All right, well, let's figure it out. Let's see how we can move forward. Yeah, yeah, I want my money. But our growth is more than that. Our growth is more than that. Let's figure it out. Because you don't want them to be robbing Peter to try to pay you, because at the end of the day, they're gonna cut you off. Okay? You better figure it out. You know, I'm not saying not get nothing. Get something. But we don't need the whole thing right now. Because we gotta keep that insurance active by the first. Now these are some of the forms that you can get. Okay, I got most of this. I got most of this stuff, so you know, I'll be shooting it over to y'all. Like everything that I got, y'all gonna get. Okay? Everything. everything I got, y'all gonna get. Bottom line. Cause so there ain't gonna be no, well, I need this, or well, what do I do next, or how do I do? All right. Now, this is something that
You
you
going
know
in
in
and
the
out.
free.
You disappear. Okay, you back. Now what were you saying about the paperwork?
Can't hear you.
Can't hear nothing. I lost you on the last slide. If you're speaking, I still can't hear.
Right when you put up that last slide, that's when everything went out.
Oh, that's fine. My damn mic's off.
You back. You back. Don't change nothing. Stay right there.
Yeah, I don't even know why my mic was off. All right. So the last slide was basically telling you these are forms that you can get, and I help y'all. I'll give y'all these forms. I got accident reports. Going to need that. 2290 form. Going to need that. Okay. Got some compliance forms. Point you in the right direction. Now this is what I was going over with some of the some of the in the free classes, but they're gonna have an update rule. Okay, they're gonna be um doing the ELD revisions. Now, the automatic emergency brake systems, they're going to be basically having that like a mandate for the trucks now. Don't know if, like everybody know about that kid. They got 10 years. They said it brake malfunction. Well, this is that's part of that's like a reason why. Okay, safety fitness procedures that they had to go because these drivers had to stay fit. You know, sitting all the time, driving all the time, things of that nature. It's a toll on their body even though they're sitting down. So they're gonna have to go through some things as well. And then a unique identification. They want all these vehicles to have monitoring. All
Did
right.
you tell me that they had to when you personally told me they had to do like a pre-op and a post-op like what is it called?
Those inspections.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so that's important, like to run by them as far as when you're vetting somebody to make sure they get those done a lot.
Yeah. When you're talking to a carrier, all right, you're gonna ask them those questions because you want everything up to date. You want them healthy. You shoot. I asked them if they're on drugs or had any drug problems. Clean. And you want to know what one told me? And you want to know what one told me? Oh well, nah. One he was calling me and asking me to dispatch for him. Said, well, what happened? He was all like, well, I failed a drug test. He went to the STEP program and everything. Still didn't get reinstated. So, you know what I mean? You gotta ask them. It's up to you if you want to work with them. But at least if you do work with them, at least you know what you're getting into. You know what I mean? If you're on medication, do any of those medications make you fall asleep? Ask them these questions. Like these compliant, like it's compliance. It may be boring, but these are things that you're going to have to know. These are things that you're going to want to know. You want to research it. But yeah, these are questions that you can ask, like the same questions that you're finding out in learning. This is what you can ask. Okay, so this is basically what the login device is, the revisions of them. 4 hours of service, rule change. So this is what they're basically looking to do. Okay, these aren't in effect yet, but these are some of the things that they're looking to do to put these in effect. All right, these are basically they're going to put it in all into these trucks, especially the emergency braking system. Now they call it a Jacob. They call it a Jake brake, where when you're going downhill, you pull the Jake brake. Okay, Jake brake is basically like the emergency brake in these trucks when they're going downhill. Now, that was one of the things that they said that this person didn't use when he said his brakes failed, was saying that he didn't use the Jake brake. Now, did I know what a Jake brake was before? No, but I asked. There's things like you're gonna hear so much lingo and so much, you know, terminology from different people, from different drivers, that it's going to be all right to ask them a question. What the tandem is, what's a pin hitch, a penal hitch, you know, ask questions. Like, and you're going to learn it. All right. But this is what they're trying to do. This is what they're going to be doing. Also doing, where these when they do the safety ratings on their MCs and everything. Okay, when these safety ratings come out, like one little ding on their, like you're late or whatever, they can put you on carrier 411. Just real quick. You know what I mean? Which isn't right. If a broker gets on your nerves, I mean, a broker gets mad at you or something happened because they under pressure. Because you gotta realize most of these brokers, when you're doing this stuff, and this is how sometimes you can get money, okay, get real money, it's because they didn't talk themselves into something that they need you to get them out of. That's basically what happened. That's basically what it is. You know what I mean? So they could basically just ding you. Okay? So this is something that's looking at to be changed as well. And this is basically safety continued to where, everything that they're basically going to be trying to do. Okay? So that's something that you can read up on. You can go to the FMCSA site. Okay, they have all that. Like basically, this is where it came from, and they have all that information on there. All right, and the only thing this is going to do is just sharpen your tool. Is just sharpen your tool. Okay, and that's basically the unique identification number. That's what they call in a EID, or yeah, EID. That's what it is. That's what it's going to be called. Okay, and basically, which I don't think that it's going to work out that well because it's supposed to improve the roadside inspection to where, like, they'll just put that ID number in and it'll look up what your truck has been doing, and I don't think that's going to be fair. Um, But ask your driver and talk about DOT training and driver training. Because the more training that you have a carrier do, the more that you can do as well. Because you can do it with them. Only thing you have to do is ask. You're going to build connections with carriers just like they're your family members. Like, that's what you want. You want to build a real good relationship when y'all sending Christmas gifts together to each other. Okay? Christmas cards, in front of the tree in the matching pajamas, things of that nature.
There you go.
But these are things. What in the world? All right, there you go. Well, these are things that basically that they're going to need all the time. Like it just don't. They're going to need training, especially if you have a fleet. If you have more than two drivers, then you're going to basically try to help them out to do this stuff, and you can do it. But you also have to get the training yourself. Okay. But this is basically, hours of service again, because I'm just going to keep on going over that because that's very, very important. It's going to be very important in your hours of service. The 30-minute break, we talked about that a little bit already. Talk about team driver and sleeper berth, where you can have the splits. All right. Now they do get a short haul exception. Anybody know what the short haul exception is? Anybody?
I'm not familiar.
Okay. Well, let's go over it. For short haulers operating larger or heavier vehicles, okay, drivers can now increase the maximum on duty. So if you're driving the heavy loads and it's going a short radius, all right, then you get extended time on what you can do. Now you can't do it really with a box truck, but anything over that 26,000 pounds, then you mainly can do it with your tractor. So, like, for example, when you're getting into this, you're gonna come across this port work. Remember we was talking about TWIC, right? So we know about TWIC, we know about UIIA, right? So some of these container loads is pretty much like maybe 40 miles away from each other, because you're moving them port to port, because when they coming off the vessel, because you got to realize the vessel is like 3 feet, football feet long. So they got a whole bunch of containers on them. So basically, it's just short moving. So when you get a load, because they're out there, see, and I had a guy, he's in Florida. He's he's the reason why, like, my TMS is messed up, because I had one dude say, there's no way that power only is getting more per mile on a reefer in a dry van. I was all like, you're right, but my guy in Florida, he's the reason why my numbers is messed up. This dude's getting $86 a mile. He's only driving, you know, 78 miles, and that's round trip. So he getting as many loads as he can. See, that's that short haul exception. right there. That's a prime example of the short, the short haul example, assumption right there is where and you're gonna find them. Just think about that. He can go all day. Got trucks in the port in New Jersey. They go basically 100 miles round trip. They make 3 trips a day, $1,500 a load. So you'll find them, and they're on there. The people's on there too, because I'm giving y'all the brokers list. So you just call up there if you have a truck in Pennsylvania. You can call Danny. Tell him I sent you. Down in Florida, you call Bob. Bob Kaplan. Actually, I was talked to him earlier. I talked to him earlier today. Like, here, I'll show y'all. Bob hit me up. He asked me if I had it. He asked me about a load, and I'm telling you, that's the short. That's that short haul. And you get that when you get that short haul, you can get a whole bunch of loads in at that time. Bob, there you go. Somebody hit me up. Okay. But this is one of the guys. This is one of the guys. I'm telling you. He'll email me loads. So think about that. But you'll get his name too, because he's on the list. All right. When we go over brokers and everything, that's when everybody get the list. Just letting y'all know that. Letting y'all know I ain't holding out on y'all. Okay? I don't hold out. All right. That's the adverse drivers conditions that we just got done talking about. Question time. Open discussion. Questions. Hello?
Are you gonna be able to email us this same class afterwards, like you was doing in the other ones?
Yeah.
Cause some of it I'm not able to jot down. I'm doing a little walking around and stuff, checking on my kids.
Okay. All right. Don't worry about it. But we could write down, that was compliance. We got a whole 2 weeks of this. You be okay.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Tomorrow's class starts in the morning.
Huh?
Does tomorrow class start in the morning?
Tomorrow will be 10 to 12. I'm gonna be doing live calls because I got some loads to book.
Okay, so
So
will we be just watching you do your live calls?
you can watch me do my live calls, or you can ask me questions. Anything
Okay,
that's on
cool.
your mind. It basically be open discussion, but classes it'll be at night
Okay,
because I have
cool.
because I have to work too.
Yeah, okay. I was
So
wondering because
I figure
okay,
you watch if anybody has time, then they can watch me and they can see.
okay, sound good.
All right.
Will it be
But you
the
My
good.
same link?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Will,
No, ladies first. I apologize.
No, you're okay. Thank you. My question was in regards to in the beginning when you was talking about I think you said becoming a DOR for the carrier.
DER.
DER. Yeah, that's what it was. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, that's like basically I call it a drug enforcement rep, but they have some other fancy word for it. So what it is when when a carrier enters the drug program, okay, and that's like for clearinghouse, and you'll understand clearinghouse as you go along. But this is basically going through compliance on what they have to do. So when a carrier does that, all right, then he goes through the drug program. Well, he can't be his own overseer of the drug program. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be the owner and the overseer of it.
So kind of like an advocate for the driver while they're going through the program.
Exactly. So,
Okay.
but it's crazy though, because like I'm my uncle's DER. Okay. Like I can fire him if I want to. I could tell him to go take a piss test tomorrow morning. And if he don't do it, any driver refuse, guess what? You're gone. You're out of here. You know what I mean? So that's the type of responsibility that you have, because you have to do it. You have to schedule the drug test. You have to go through the drug training. You have to tell them to go through it as well. So, you know, you can ask. You know, it can happen. You can ask, but that's something that you can talk to your carrier about if, he needs help to be compliant. Now, you can't keep him compliant, but you can point him in the right direction to, be more compliant. You can't officially, but you can basically help him through it. You know what I mean? And that's what we are. We're just a guide. But hell, if they can, be compliant and help us out so you can get credentials, then why not do it? Because the only thing you're doing is getting more information. Next question. Or is there any questions in the chat? Like, if y'all don't want to speak on the mic, y'all can speak in the chat or type in the chat if y'all have any questions. No questions? All right. Moving on.
I was coming.
Oh,
No, I was just asking. Good evening. I was just asking. So you doing a live calling tomorrow from 10 to 12, but we're still having the 7 to 9 in the evening, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm doing the live. I'm doing the live call. I'm working.
Right. I'm gonna catch in on some of that, but during the day I'll be having therapies and stuff. But
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna be
know
in
people have stuff to do in there. Yeah,
there. I'll be in
I'm gonna be working.
there. Yeah,
You know what I
so
mean? But I'm always welcome to, basically, because this is the whole. You're going to be learning it and going through it anyway.
right.
A lot of us, don't know how, to talk to carriers, to talk to brokers, to talk to, the drivers, and basically you're going to be in on every phone call because this phone is going to ring off the hook tomorrow.
I know. Yeah, I can imagine.
So that's how, like, get you an insight.
Will you be able to record? Like, so I know I'll probably be able to get just a little bit of it while I'm on lunch. Are you able to record the calls for us? For
Yeah,
those
I'm
that can
going to,
record the whole
yeah,
2 hours?
I'm recording everything, Brandy.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Right on.
Recording everything. Okay? Because when you it's basic. This is a tool to use. It's basically just go over, because you're going to be going over and over and over and over and over everything.
Right.
This is it's going to be repeat process. Okay, so only thing you're doing in this repeat process is getting better at what you're doing. That's it. You taking a little bit from here, taking a little bit from here. All right, sprinkle a little bit of gems right here, and you're making it your own. But as soon as you get, like I'm telling you, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn it. All right. Now
All
we're
right.
on
Thank you.
equipment.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Anybody else got any questions?
I have a question, but it's about a possible load. So I wait till like the very end.
Okay. Write that down. All right. Now, equipment. You gotta learn the equipment.
I can't hear you. I think you're froze.
Hello?
We can hear
We
you.
can see you. Now we can't see you.
Yeah, I turned it off. I turned it out. Oh, I can't believe like. All right. So your equipment, okay? You gotta know your box trucks. All right. These box trucks now move fast. You gotta know the dimensions, okay? You need to know it. The length, the width of the truck, the height of the truck. They're not the same. They are not the same at all. The most popular height of it is 96 inches height. Okay. Now you're gonna see some 98s. Don't get confused with looking at a van load. Even though a van load may be at the weight that a box truck can hold, they're probably gonna say we want a van, a 53-foot van. So don't get the two confused because it easily could be done because you could be looking on the load board and look at the weight, know the weight of your truck. Like, oh, that's 9,500. Oh, that's 9,500 too, because you're just looking at the rate right now. The rate and the weight. That's what you're looking at. You're not looking at the other side of the load board that say VSB or anything of that nature. So you gotta pay attention to that. Because you'll be calling and it's a van. And then you'll talk to him and set up the whole deal. And then next thing you know, he'll be all like, "What's your trailer number?" You'll be like, "I don't got no trailer, I got a box truck." So don't get them confused because you got 102 inches, you got 98 inches, you got 96 inches. Some box trucks are short, so get pictures. Say, "Hey man, I'm gonna need to take a picture of your box truck. Need you to send that to me." All right. Under 26,000 pounds, well, 26 1, is non-CDL. Yeah, they have to have an ELD. Okay. Now, most of them up to 10,000 pounds. Okay. Some of them, if they're CDL, then obviously they can go over 10,000 pounds. But more average on how the box trucks are, you're looking, no more than 10,000. Like I had to turn down a load today because my driver he had 9,500 and the load was 10,080. So we 580 pounds away. I'm sitting here like serious, like I'm like, bro, like I really want them to go, but you can't do it. You can't do it. Something could happen. So we won't take that chance because they'll get shut down. Overweight, they'll get shut down. Okay, shut down right there. Overweight, or you gotta fix it. Gotta go on the scale. That's why some of your drivers, if like especially with these dry vans, like these dry vans and these reefer and and the flatbeds, anything that you hauling or pulling, them scales. Some of them you can go to CAT. They got some good scales, but you know, talk to your drivers, ask them, got it. Gotta have some scales. I'm telling you. Sprinter vans. These are fast too, expedited. Typical Sprinter vans probably carrying about 3,500 to 8,000 pounds. Okay, 10 feet long. I mean, got 20 feet long, 10 feet long. You know, in those in some of those Sprinter vans. You know, always know the dimensions. Ask your drivers, like ask your carriers the dimensions. Don't just be sitting here trying to, oh well, I'm talking to this person and we look like we're gonna work together. You better know his truck. You better know his truck. And you better know what he wants to do. Better know how he wants to do it. You got to see if y'all can work together. Y'all got to see if y'all can do that. Like with me, I do it. I don't. Somebody talk about, yeah, man, I want to stay local. I said, well, you local. You be local then. I can't work with you. I'm not from your area to know. Like, I'm not calling Home Depot for you. You know what I mean? I can't I can't do that. I can't work with you. That'll take time for me looking for something for you local or whatever, and then I'm not going to be pulling teeth. I need you to go about 600 miles. So know if you can accommodate that. Okay? Know if you can accommodate it. Hot shots, that's another popular one. Okay? You're gonna see hot shots all over the place. They mainly do call haulers. You know what I mean? Now they're gonna need straps. You're gonna need ramps, goosenecks. Okay? Know what these things need. Know what they are. You know, for now on, when you're driving, pay attention to the road and look at what's around you and pick out a damn hot shot. Look at the van that is driving by you. See if it's a reefer load. And then while you at it, look at the MC and write it down. Look it up and call them and see if they need somebody to help them manage their business. Because you can do that. But you got to know what some of these trucks are, because hot shots, they move fast too. Got to know what power only is. And bobtail, deadhead. When you deadhead, you're bobtailing. Some equipment that they're going to need is chains and binders. Okay, but these are power only. Now, you're going to be picking up tractors. You're going to be dropping hooks. Going to do those. You're going to hear that a lot. You're going to hear a loadout. You're going to hear a tow away. You're going to hear that a lot involving these tractors, involving the power onlys. Okay? So when you talk to somebody with a power only, then you could talk to them a little bit more about, okay, well, do you have any chains? Do you have any binders? You know, start learning the lingo of the carriers that you're wanting to recruit and the people that you want to talk to, and it'll help you connect with them. It'll help you connect with them better. Because when you connect with them better, now you're building value up for yourself. Dry vans. Okay. Now the dry vans, some of them they're going to have to be 2012. You want to see that a lot. 2012 or newer. You're going to have trailer exchanges. Okay, so you're gonna have trailer agreements and trailer exchange agreement. That's what it's called, trailer exchange agreement from brokers. If you're taking their trailer, okay. If you're taking their drive van, then you're gonna have to sign an agreement. That's basically with the power only. But mainly you're gonna have trailer numbers. Always know a trailer number if your driver has it. Always know the truck number if your driver has it. And then he has straps and low bars as well. He can have these in his truck, but these are, things that you're gonna have to look out for and you're gonna have to know with these trailers, especially if you have a carrier that has his own trailer. Now, when you're looking for these loads and when you're talking to him, now you basically can know what he can do and what can fit in it, what cannot fit in it. But to always pay attention, especially with the weight, especially with these loads. And then you got to talk about the trailer and how much how much the carrier wants to pull, because you don't want to get something too heavy that's not going to be able that trailer may not be able to hold. I think a couple of days ago I seen on Facebook that happened, where one of these drivers went and the whole damn trailer in the middle sunk. Whatever it was, it sunk. Snapped the trailer. Reefer loads. Now they come in 50. I forgot to put 51, but they come in 51 foot, 48 foot, and a 53 foot. These are temperature controlled units. They're called TCUs. Okay, the temperatures go up and down. They're carrying different, like flowers, and I'll go over what they carry and everything, but know your reefer loads. Know your reefers. If you hear somebody talking about a reefer, or if they don't even say reefer because they might got confused and they say temp controlled unit, TCU, then you know it's a reefer, because that's basically what they're going to, say is TCU most of the time. Caught me off guard with it one time. Yeah, we got TCU unit. I'm like, what? A reefer? Oh, okay. So make sure I'm on. Okay. Chassis. Right here. That's that port work. Twick. See that again. UIIA. Port work. Has containers. It pulls those containers. So, if you have a carrier now with these chassis, okay. Now, the chassis, the more you see those, if your carrier do not have a chassis, all right, but he has Twick. Some of these ports, they're going to require him to have a chassis, or he can rent a chassis to pull the loads. So always keep a heads up about that, all right, because he can do either or depending on how many chassis he have. And the reason why they short on chassis because got a whole bunch of containers sitting on them. Like right now, it's hard to get chassis to even rent them and buy them right now. But know these, so get familiar with that. You can get familiar with this. You know, flatbed. Now these gonna require straps, ramps. You got a flatbed. You got a nickname of step deck. You got low boy. The low boy, it goes down a lot lower. All right, that's where the low boys or like real where you get like army stuff, the big tankers, you see those like sitting down, they sitting down low. So they can easily get off that mug. You know what I mean? So you got the low boy. They're gonna need, chains, binders, tarps. You talking to a carrier with flatbed tarps. Hey, you have any tarps? What about binders? You're talking to him about something that he has. Okay? But basically, you just got to find your niche. Okay? You got to find your niche and you got to get better at it. You find what you want to do. Now, we went over equipment and I'm going to answer a lot of questions, but we went over equipment. All right? You know these equipments, you find your niche, it's going to be easier for you to basically talk to a carrier, talk to a broker. You talk to a carrier, talk to a broker, it goes together, it works out because you know what you're talking about. So the only thing you have to do is just find your niche because you're gonna go through a lot of trial error. Some stuff ain't gonna work, some stuff is gonna work. That's bottom line. But along the way, you're just gonna get good at it. So go after what you connect with best. Somebody might be, like with me, my weakness is box trucks. I don't even know why I got them. Like box trucks is my weakness. But I got loads for them though. But I just don't like looking for them. Okay, I don't like calling about them because like with box trucks, they want to do this, they want to do that, and then like sometimes you go into double brokering with these box truck loads, and we're gonna go over double broker because you need to know about that. But find your niche. My niche: power only, reefer, vans, a little bit of flatbed. Now with flatbeds, that's very important. Like to me, I think that flatbeds is the most important ones out of them all because them things could come loose. Okay, you ever like Final Destination? Scares me to death. All right. But these things could come loose and they have to be secure. They have to be secure, tarped up. Some of them require a tarp, some of them don't. But ask your drivers at times, do they have flatbed experience? Because some of them don't. Some of them won't have flatbed experience at all. Okay? So find your niche. Okay? When you find your niche, just work at it and get better at it. You're not going to get better at everything every day. I mean, everything at one time, but you can get better at one thing at a time. If you see a whole bunch of box trucks, research the box trucks, know what they are. All right, cool. Now when you know what they are, now that you talk about them, the next thing you know, you can talk to the carrier and let them know about it. Let them know what you know about the truck. Let them know what you know about the box truck to help him out, because you're really going to be running into a lot of people that don't know what they're doing. You're going to be running into a lot of carriers that don't know what they're doing, and you just sit there and like you trying to run a business like this, like you trying to run a trucking business, and you doing like what? You're going to really look at it like that. Because you got to realize whatever they do, it affects you. It affects you. So always ask questions and know what you're dealing with, especially with these equipments. You know, you want to know you want to know these equipment. You want to know what they do. You want to know how they work. You want them all to know how to. You want to know it all, but just find out what your niche is. Find out what you're best at. All right. Anybody have any questions? Hello.
We here.
Yeah, I don't have no
Yeah.
questions, but I did want to personally tell you that you doing your damn thing, brother. I appreciate it. So,
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you.
yes, sir.
Anybody questions? Hello.
No,
No,
not at the
no,
No
moment.
I do
questions.
have
No
any
questions.
questions.
All right. So we got open discussion for 10 minutes about anything, and then we'll have a test.
What I was gonna ask about when it when it comes to like being able to dispatch those, what's the best load board? I know you were saying because a few people have said about selectors, but what's the, I would say currently the most efficient load board or way to go about getting it for the box trucks?
For the box trucks, man, I would still say selectors just because like with me on how I develop with box trucks, like I look online for box trucks, but then I just go down the brokers list that I got.
Okay.
I just go down the like with me, I just go down the brokers list till I call. I'm just gonna keep on calling, and then as I'm calling, I'm just sitting here saying, "Oh, well, this look interested," but
Can I get a copy of that?
what
The brokers list.
yeah, yeah, when we go over brokers, yeah, yeah, you're gonna get a copy, you're gonna get a copy of it.
Okay, cool.
Everybody's gonna get a copy of it. Trust me, like yeah, and these are all personal. These are people that I contacted. You know what I mean? Like that I done business with, done loans with, you know. So or they called me. Like I get a whole bunch of phone calls because I got a whole bunch of trucks posted. But anything else? Any questions?
Do we use the same link for tomorrow's for the 2 hour thing where we listen to you do calls? Do we use the same link?
Um, I'll email that to you talking about for tomorrow morning, after tomorrow morning.
Yes. Yes. Is it the same one we used tonight?
Mm, I have to look and see
Okay.
because I could
But
do a
you'll
whole
send it
bunch
to
of.
us?
I don't know if I'm gonna yeah, I'm gonna send it to I'll send it to y'all. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. There's no questions about the equipment. So y'all know all the equipment then. Y'all know all the stuff about equipment.
On the box truck, when it comes to speaking of the equipment, when it comes to it, like what are the best ones as far as being able to get brokers on? Like I know the ones with the lift gates. I did some research and said ones with lift gates are good. Um, like a lady I have, she has a 16 foot. I kind of worry just a little bit about being able to find her something.
Well, you want to know the funny thing about when you said that? Like I started off with a 16 foot.
That was the one I was telling you about today.
Okay. Yeah, that my first person that I put under our authority had a 16 foot. And boy, it was hell. And like I guess I was new in it. But when I was new in it, doing it, like I was just learning it, right? So I went through a whole bunch of trial and error of trying to find the right load and trying to figure out, how to, get something in this truck, okay? But because I didn't have that information, I didn't think about taking a picture or telling them the dimensions and stuff. I was just making phone calls, and the next day, I'm on the phone with you know the driver, and I'm like, "Oh, is it Doc High?" Yeah, it's Doc High. Oh, low. Oh, okay, yeah. Do you have any low bars? Oh, okay. And I was going back and forth. You know what I mean? Now I
Just say
don't
load
think it's that.
bars.
Huh?
You just say load bars. Is what you just said?
Yeah, low bars. But now I don't think it's that difficult because now I know what I'm looking for. Only thing you have to do, because I think with the 16 foot, they can only do like 5,000 pounds. I think they can only do like 5,000. Not that much. So I mean, just look. You just have to look for loads like that, like the real expedited freights. Now you can get some of those expedited freights when you find a freight forwarder or people that's breaking down these damn containers. Where is she located at?
He's out of Virginia.
So Norfolk.
Yes,
Okay.
specifically. Yeah.
Well,
I
well,
think that was, and not to like spoil, but just from your session last week, I think that was like when you were saying no to markets. She was potentially willing to drive anywhere at this point. So I think that kind of helps me out a little bit too. I don't think she want to just come home every night.
yeah. Now you could find those. You could find real good box truck loads on Flock Freight. Now, Flock Freight is basically a freight forwarder, okay? And they're very strong too. Like, here, I'll show you.
And apparently she kind of knew like this was coming because before I asked for the dimensions, she sent me the dimensions of the truck. So that helped because I wasn't gonna have to try to think about that.
Yeah, you gotta know the dimensions of the truck because you gotta know what you're working with. You always gotta know what you're working with. And that's gonna help when you know what you're working with, that's gonna help you with the broker. All right. So they have they have good freight. This is Flock Freight. All right. Now your carrier will have to have their authority for 90 days, depending on who you talk to. All right. Now I'm gonna give you Steven's number. He's gonna be on the list. He's a real cool guy. He don't book the loads. He don't book the loads. He can tell you where they at and he can tell you, but he don't book them. He's like a liaison. He's like the manager. Me and him talk because he helped me with a double broker load. But he's a real good guy, and he put me onto this to find the loads because we was already set up. You know, but whatever state that they in, you said Norfolk. Said 16. See, they got 18. They got 9-foot Sprinter van. They don't got no 16. Let's do through 26 and just see what they
I was
got.
gonna say I just got somebody with 26, a 26 box trucks also, so this still helps.
I always look for 26, regardless. I have a 24-foot. See, like right here, Norfolk to Wyoming. So let's go in the route. The route is gonna be a thousand miles. Okay, you're going 15,000 pounds. So right there, that's a little bit too. That's too heavy. That'll be too heavy for it. But negotiation wise, a little briefer negotiation. Would y'all do that load? That load right there. Would anybody do that load for that money right there? Anybody?
I would
No,
No, yes.
attempt to get more.
How much more?
Hold
go
on,
back
take
to it.
the
Let me
screen
see it.
down again, it disappeared.
How much more? Use your head. Come on. Like it's going 1,000 miles. It's paying 1761. How much more are you gonna go into the battle for it?
I'm charging at least $3
I
per
need about,
mile.
I was gonna say at least
well,
2,100 minimum.
that's around two because that's an extra 600 miles, and it's actually giving less.
Okay. So how would you approach it? Anybody? How would you approach getting more money? Now y'all just said that you wouldn't take this load.
I mean,
It's not enough to pay the driver.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about how would you we already determined that we are not going to take this load. We're going 1,008 miles and they already got it posted for $761.96. So
And where's it going?
as you as a person as you the carrier manager, you're negotiating, you want to go in. How are you going to approach it? Anybody?
I mean, I would
Come on.
probably just explain that. I would just explain that, looking at this other load, that, well, I can't really see the screen to, like, I guess, like, call numbers or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, wouldn't you just compare other load
Yeah.
rates in the area, going to that area that you're trying to get to?
Because I would just let them know that, this is another load that's, you know, it's
Right.
paying more, it weighs less, and the distance is a lot shorter. I mean,
But that one's not paying nothing.
huh?
So that one's not paying nothing. That one's
You,
paying less than this one.
I mean, I know that that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I would, just tell them that the one for Corpus Christi doesn't pay enough. Looking at comparing it to this other load that's going to Wyoming, it's a shorter distance, but it's paying more money, and the load weighs less.
Yeah. This is what I was looking for. See, when you're looking at that, all right, and this is giving you a brief of negotiation, that's going to be later on down the line. But it was something that I wanted to touch because I just seen it. But when you're going into negotiation, you bring out all your tools. Don't tell them about another load. Tell them about this load because we're going to basically be looking at the maps. We're going to be basically knowing the rate that we want to be at. We always going to want to know where we want to be at before you even call, before you even talk to them. You're going to have the miles calculated. You're going to have the rate that you want. You're going to already have the rate that they're going to give you, that they're trying to give you already. So when you're going into it, you're going to mention it. Because look at where Wisconsin, he going 1,000 miles in Wisconsin. So that means he's going up north. So that means that he's going to basically he's going to come up 95, or he probably going to go through 64 to 81 to get there. You're going to have tolls, you're going to have mountains. You're going to have all these things that's going to take gas, that's going to take money. And then when do I have to be there? Oh, we want you to drive straight through. Or we want you to get there by an earlier time than your miles and time will allow. So you don't have to talk about other loads. You
You
every load
froze.
will be different.
No, you
Huh?
froze. You were frozen.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear it now.
This is bullshit. I swear. About to throw this motherfucker away. Hello?
We here.
We can hear you.
Okay. Oh shit, y'all heard me? Oh, my
Yeah.
bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. All right. But like I was saying, when you looking at the load, you know what I mean? You want to look at all the avenues, especially if you're looking at going to Texas, Corpus Christi, for real, all the way down there. That's hard to get out of. See, when you know where you're going, that's why you got to know, the markets, and you got to know the rates where you're going. Because when you know these things, then that's going to help you. Then you could talk about the equipment, especially look if this was a dry van. Because right now, remember when I was saying sometimes those dry vans be with the box truck loads. So we already know that this is possibly a CDL load because it's over 15,000 pounds. So that means they're going to probably require a 53-foot van. Yep, see, 53-foot van. But see, since they had 22 feet, they put it under the box truck. See, what if you never clicked into that and just called them? And I could bid on this right now. But see right here, but even if you was negotiating with the van, now when you're talking about the van, guess what? Ask them the load time. What's the load time?
Is that 7 to 11 Eastern time?
Huh?
The load time you said was at the 7 to 11 Eastern time?
What you talking about?
You asked for load time?
Oh, no, that's the pickup time.
Oh, the time they have to be there between that time. Okay.
Yeah, load time. When I say load time, that when you have a dry van or where you have anything, a van, a reefer, or anything that takes loading, require loading, you're gonna ask them what is the load time, meaning that how long is it gonna take you to load? Because remember, we gotta count the hours of service while our driver's there. So what is it gonna take? How long is it gonna take y'all to load this truck? Because you're gonna consider that in your negotiation. They tell you, oh, it shouldn't take long. Well, how long do it normally take? Do you have these loads all the time? Ask them because you want to know that load time because you got hours of service and you want to know how much money you want to get for waiting. That's what you really want to do. How long does it take to unload? A couple hours. All right. Well, I just got me a couple $100. So this is what you want to, this is what you want to think about when, you want to negotiate a little bit. Because when you do that, when you negotiate, then you're basically talking, building conversation, building rapport, all in a quick time, and you're trying to book a load. That's what you're doing. All rapidly. It's gonna be all fast. All this stuff is gonna be fast, and you got to keep it together. You got to keep it all together. All right. So everybody's in the chat. Everybody's alive. I ain't
Yep.
bored anybody, did I?
No,
Live
sir.
and well.
Who said not really? All
I don't
right,
know. I said
test
live
time.
and well.
Test time. This is my favorite part. As soon as you come up. Yes, y'all will have test. So I'm about to put this in the chat. Everybody could copy or paste that link to your browser or click it and let me know when you arrive. Trey, you just getting here? Hold on. May have spelled it wrong. Anyone loads. What was the name of the site for Pop's truck load? Selectus. Oh, I didn't go over types of loads. Princess. Yeah, Selectus is the box truck haven. Is that test link working for y'all?
Yes, it's
Hello?
working for me. Yeah, can you hear me? It's working for me.
Okay.
Who issues dot driver's tweet card? Uh, just open notes. Where my tweet notes? Okay.
Don't none of y'all be trying to take it over either.
What does tax agreement? What is the driver able to do when faced with adverse driving conditions? Oh shoot, where's my mouse? Cause I can't be. Okay. What state requires carriers to have? What's HUD? I don't remember hearing about HUD.
That's a trick question.
Oh shoot, my mic on.
It's actually 3 minutes.
Oh, I didn't know this was timed. I just
Oh
timed
yeah.
out. I ain't catch that if you said that.
Y'all timed out?
Somebody said they only got 2 minutes.
Nah, everybody got 3.
Oh, somebody said why only 2 minutes? Oh, I
When
suck.
everybody
Yeah,
should
I
be done.
timed out on time.
Everybody
I'll
should
know
be done.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I timed out too.
Yeah, that one wasn't cool, man.
Just say fail.
Yeah, man, that was crazy.
Cause I ain't get to
Oh,
finish. I got
somebody.
to like
You didn't
8.
say it was time from the beginning. We would have been moving a little faster.
Right.
Yeah,
I was
I
making
hate.
sure I read those questions carefully.
Yeah, I hate failing, man. That just like it ruin my day. Fuck
You
it.
wanna know what? Nobody failed. Nobody failed. Everybody's
Yeah,
asking what's timed. This is why.
66%. That's good.
Remember when I was sick? Remember I was saying take down notes. Take down notes because this is what you're going to be doing when you're talking to a broker. This is what you're going to be doing when you're talking to a carrier. You're going to be writing stuff down and retaining information. And you got to do it as quickly as possible. You got to retain that information and be able to spit it out as quickly as possible. Yeah, I I I had it on 5 minutes, but then next day, I put it down to 3. You know, But this is what's going to happen real quick. It's going to happen real quick. The questions. You're going to ask the questions. You know, you want to control the conversation. You want to write it down. This is how you're going to create that muscle memory. So that's why it was fast. That's why it was timed. All your tests is going to be timed. Every last one of them. Because you want to get better. This is going to help you retain information and write it down. Someone said, why only take 2 minutes? Guess what? You better hope when you're on the phone with the broker, you get 2 minutes. Especially if you got a box truck load. Because by the time that you negotiate a price and say that you want to get the load, they're going to tell you it's covered. So everything is going to be about timing, about efficiency.